All right, so today we're gonna be doing an oil cooler on the car. The oil temperature has been pretty good so far. I wanna say max of like 208 degrees. I know some people are gonna argue that that's not even up to operating temp. I have beat on this thing around the track and the hottest it's gotten is 208. Now, I don't know if it's just maybe a false reading from the actual sensor that I'm running in the pan, which happens to be the aim sensor. Nonetheless, I'm gonna try to see if I can keep the oil temp at like 200 degrees because it's starting to get up towards of mid to high 90s, and it's gonna hit about 100 degrees out here in the desert. So that's what we got going on so far. This is a little Earl's. There's the part number. It's a 16 row. It's not very big. It only holds 0.2 quarts. Here's two Mishimoto sandwich plates. And I don't know which one is going to fit, which is why I bought both. And either one will go for the S2000 later, or I'll end up just returning one. But they're both thermostatic plates. So they both have a thermostat built in. I'm running the stock one, which is 180 degrees. It's in it. You can kind of see what this one looks like. It's going to have the two lines up on top. Or this one, as you can right off the battery see, it's kind of bigger, and there's two lines up there. And I have my side port right here, and the side port over here, or over here, which is what it's going to be for the turbo drain and kind of just stuff that I'm already running now. So again, I bought both because I wasn't sure which one was going to fit, so we're going to see which one does fit and basically get rid of the other one. And then with it is just a bunch of different fittings and accessories. For your oil filter to go on, this will hold the plate there. These are to go on top. These are going to go to the Earl's here. These I might end up using too that'll go on top. Whatever I don't end up using, we're probably end up returning. And then here's dash 10, some more AN line. I already have some, but I wanted to get some extra just in case. Now the idea for it is to go up here in the driver's side wheel well area. So the little vent kind of coming through here, which maybe you think is for brakes, or up here it's going to feed into it. Just kind of like how I have the mini radiator over on the passenger side. We're going to have the mini oil cooler up in this side. All right, so here it is. I gotta get some wires I need to get out of the way here, but I'm thinking of actually attaching it to right here. Kind of like I did the mini radiator, kind of cut the zip tie and just put a riv nut in here. So if I put a riv nut in there, I should be able to make a little bracket that comes up from this mount spot right here and kind of comes straight up. That'll keep this far enough back I can maybe get some airflow in here and run like maybe a duct, and enough that this port right here is right underneath that, and the other line can kind of snake in here, maybe do like a 45 or a 90. And then I can grab this mount here, maybe do something off of it and put a riv nut in almost where this GoPro mount is or something, but some along those lines. So I'm gonna start with this one and kind of get something going here. Just got a piece here. Just gonna kind of stick it there. This is flush. Let's see, where are we bending it at? Roughly there. All right, nothing fancy. We'll clean it up a little bit, but there's one bracket. And what we're gonna do is, it's gonna go through that hole, and there's gonna be a rubber, kind of a grommet or a little washer here, stacked by another one, and on the other side there'll be two. That way, like, some vibrations from the frame aren't as harsh on the cooler. Now over here, we're gonna do basically the same thing. So that one's going that way. This one's just gonna kind of come out that way and bend up, and there's a riv nut into the frame with washers. I'm gonna put that there, and then we're gonna bend it. Again, same thing. Just kind of eyeballing the line there. There we go. All right, so it's not bolted up there, but it's kind of sitting in place. I cut that. I need to cut a little straighter, but the idea is there. I think it's a good spot. It's behind the splitter, so it should have enough wheel room as far as, God forbid it's throwing any chunks. I might end up putting like a little screen here anyways. You can see the duct maybe up there, so I'll be able to route a duct to it. But let's kind of mark it. Say there-ish. Then we'll drill through that, and then we'll put a riv nut in the frame. All right, hole's drilled. I'm gonna put a little Permatex gray on it. It's just kind of something I do sometimes in the frame. I'm gonna wipe off the excess though. All right. All right, so now it's installed. I got my two little brackets here. I'm gonna clean them up and paint them here, but we're just doing a mock fit so we can make the AN lines. And as I said earlier, you can see there's my bolt there. We've got some rubber on it, rubber there. Got another rubber on the end of that one. I'm gonna put one more on the end of this. Again, that's just kind of to help with some vibrations maybe from the frame and stuff. All right, so she's temp mounted up. I'm gonna unscrew one of the fittings over here. I got dash 10A lines here, but these are 10 like orb fittings they're called. So it's got a little O-ring. I put some oil on it. I'm again not gonna torque everything just down 100% yet, but I need to get stuff in place enough that I can, you know, start mocking stuff up. So same thing. I ordered these from ICT Billet. That's the parts bag. Just dunk the O-ring in some oil. Same thing, remove this guy. All right, so now let's get to running some AN lines in the back of the Mishimoto plate and we will see how this is gonna go. All right, so you can see I got the Golden Eagle sandwich plate up there and this black line right in front of the screen here. This is my turbo feed, which goes into a brass T, which then has a stainless line coming out of it to the right, and that is my oil pressure. So for starters, what I'm going to do now is remove the actual Golden Eagle sandwich plate, but I'm going to leave the OEM water to oil little cooler there from the factory, and we're just going to put the Mishimoto one right on top of it. All right, so here they are side by side. Here's the Golden Eagle, it's out now, and I did have always a small little tiny leak coming from it. Nothing that ever hit the ground, but I'd always noticed like some residue here in the bottom, and well, it looks like this O-ring was just crushed, gone. So I'm choosing the small Mishimoto one here. It's got the thermostat at the bottom. Putting my T up there right now, and we're just gonna kind of see how this lines up and fits. All right, so this is the best I could figure it out. Nothing's fully torqued down yet, but I ended up having to use those Mishimoto banjo fittings right here. I could not use the 90 degrees that just came straight out. I could not use the bigger Mishimoto one, which again, I'll put the part numbers and everything in the description, but instead of this having being straight up, I had to have it down and at this angle. So I'm reusing the T joint that I got here to feed to the oil pressure and to feed to the turbo. There is another 1/8 inch MPT fitting on the other side of this block, but if you can see, there's just not a lot of room up there. I just didn't feel comfortable with this turbo feed, the length that it is, you know, getting in there, maybe bending. I'd rather have a little bit of excess like this and let it just kind of bend down here. Same thing with my oil pressure line here. So again, these aren't tightened up. I've got 2 AN lines kind of ran up through here, and I'm gonna show you guys how I'm gonna make these, but let's just kind of go around to the front. All right, so this is that age trim I used on the actual side skirts. I've put in all kinds of things throughout my videos, but what I'm gonna do with it again here is put it up around this lip here that goes around. That way when the hoses come through, they're never gonna ever have like any, you know, just raw metal rubbing against them. So it's pretty simple. They sell this stuff at O'Reilly's, AutoZone, all over the place. It comes in different actual like thicknesses, as you can see there. And this kind of has an adhesive in the middle of it. So as I kind of push up against it, it sort of like punctures it, and it'll kind of help keep it there. All right, so the oil cooler is out of the car. During test drives, it was leaking basically right above this, right where this fitting mates to the actual cooler. These are some other orb fittings that I got, and you can kind of see they are, the Earl's one is a bit shorter here, kind of bending it, but it's definitely a little bit shorter, so I could not obtain the actual torque. Or, you know, it was torqued, but I'm thinking this was actually bottoming out inside the cooler and not allowing its O-ring to fully seat. So I ordered these. I'll put the part number here on the screen, but I'm gonna roll with the actual Earl's fittings, and we're gonna hope that it doesn't leak anymore. All right, so I'm gonna show you a picture above. Here's what the seat looked like. It wasn't a lot, but it was enough just to drive me up the wall. And because it's in the driver's side, you know, in the fender well, I don't need it to potentially become a bigger leak, and then there's oil all over my tire, all over the track, and just a bad day for everybody. So I did something I'm not very proud of. It's gonna get fixed. I've got stuff on the way to hopefully fix it because I've replaced the fitting twice. It just keeps happening. So this is what I essentially did. So you can see right where it was leaking on both sides, I just threw a bunch of Honda Bond around it just in the interim, just to solve it from seeping out of there. And it hasn't leaked. Haven't lost any oil since. So some may say, oh, just keep it, it's working. It is, and I may for a little bit, but it's just bothering me on the inside that's just how I fixed it when I feel like the fitting should just work. Because in the back of the actual cooler itself, or the sandwich plate adapter, it's not leaking at all. So it's great. It's actually even better than the Golden Eagle was, and I think the Golden Eagle, again, was leaking because that O-ring was broken. But back into the fender well, you can see I kind of added this little mesh net here, which has been doing great because I did just pull off a couple of chunks of just like tire or whatever that were stuck in the mesh here. Oh, there might be another piece right there. Oh, that's actually just it. But nonetheless, it's absolutely helping what is going on inside of there. You can see all the little like rock debris that comes up in there. And again, we're in a sandy area here, so the track is, you know, there's just sand and rocks everywhere. So I also had to route it a little bit differently up in here. So as you can see, both lines come up through here. One comes around, and the one that comes around is actually the straight, which goes straight down. The other one I wrapped around here, which is the 90, which kind of fits like so. You might not be able to see, but I had to route it that way because I couldn't get it to not really kink how I have it mounted. So that's ultimately how, you know, it ended up working.
Doesn't get any closer than that. I'll take your partner.
Thank you. Well, here we go. my first time ever on a track without anybody. And I'm having a fucking blast.
clutch kick it. That's probably gonna slow me down. Come on, baby. Woo! Definitely wide. Let's just go for a little cruise. Hell yeah. 128.4, 128.7. And that second lap I had to clutch kick the car. So I'm pretty sure I could have got even faster than that. Hell yeah. Yes. This track, I'm definitely a noob, but we'll talk for a minute. This track is absolutely more technical than Sandia, I think, as far as like the tight turns. That being said, they're both awesome tracks, but the biggest hurdle I've had today so far here is literally just this technicality of the track, like going around and these constant turns like this and hopping over these, I know there's a name, but the little thingies, but it is a blast. Super fun. Let it be known, this is the temps of the car right now, and it is, I think, 105 degrees out there. This oil cooler and everything is just putting in friggin' work. I friggin' amazed, man. I'm so happy. I really am so happy with how far this car has come, and that it's performing, you know, beating the shit out of it on a time attack road track, you know, everything. I'm really curious to see what laps they got me at on the hot lap thing.
We gotta move the Mustang and let the BMW get a rerun.
Ah, just gonna park right here. Oh.
It does good. You're braking a little early.
Oh, I know. I know.
I mean,
I'm super cautious. Way cautious.
It does good though. Sounds good.
I appreciate it. I don't know what hot lap recorded it at, but almost the same, to be honest. What happened to the Mustang? It just didn't get any laps.
No, he was holding them up. So the BMW was just right there, and then the BMW just half throttled the whole way.
Wait, what? The Mustang that was behind me?
Yeah.
Where's the BMW was in front of him? He wasn't off the track
No,
already?
he went all the way and caught back up and was literally just trying to back off, and then he'd catch right back up to him right away.
Uh-huh.
Do I need to unlock it?
No, I was trying to see what...
128.02. Oh.
28.4 and 28.7.
Not bad.
So
So this one actually did you faster.
that's the official time.
Yeah, competitor's phone. It's official.
Yeah.
Good job, bud.
No, yeah, I was... Well, then what he just told me, I don't know where that dude was.
All right, let's see what Dean.
All right, so as the ASR clip that I showed you, I got a best of a 128.0, and I know for a fact I could get way faster. If you just look on the straight on the start of the second lap, it kills me. Hopefully it kills you too. I have just this huge tendency of braking really early, and I know that, and it's because I just don't have confidence in the brakes. Along with me having to clutch kick the car, which ended up ultimately, I changed the plugs, which is what I thought it was, but I think it ended up actually being the IACV. So I gave it some more duty cycle in the Honda, and it's gonna be okay now. So we'll just kind of monitor that and go, play that by ear. But brakes, right? So the EBC yellows are what I have all around the car with stop tech rotors, front and back. The car stops way better than it ever has, but I still feel like I'm always having to give the pedal just way more than I want to, and mentally giving as much as I am, I don't trust that's going to stop. So I went back to a 15/16 master. So this is a bigger master than the 7/8 that comes in the stock CRX. What it should do is make the pedal stiffer. It's not gonna make the car brake any better or worse, but it should make the pedal stiffer, which for me mentally might make me feel like I'm gonna stop better. I have yet to lock the brakes on the track, so I know it's got more in it. It's just, again, it's like the pedal modulation, right? I'm looking for it to have, let's just put you here for a second. Right now, let's just say the pedal has, this much total movement, and my right finger here is where they would be, maxed out and locked. Well, the pedal travel is this wide. I don't feel comfortable pushing the pedal this much. I'd rather be pushing it this much. I know it might sound weird, but when my foot starts going all the way, I'm like, man, am I ever going to fully stop? So mentally, it just is hard for me to just trust the brake system. So when I put in that bigger master, hoping the pedal modulation changes from like this to like this, which I know some people might say, hey, that's not gonna be that great because you're gonna probably lock the brakes a little bit easier. Well, as of right now, I'm just kind of I'm weird with the pedal anyways, where the point, I don't even brake, I haven't locked them yet. So I think by me reducing a little bit of pedal modulation, it might help me and instill some confidence. We'll find out. July 11th is the next Sandia practice event, but I have one other thing that I want to try also at the same time as the brakes. The car still rotated quite a bit. I'm actually going to take this sway bar in the rear and make it to the not stiffest setting. But between Matt and I, we were able to get it to do pretty decent at ASR. I just need to do some more. It's just driving time and seat time, right? I'm definitely aiming for like a 120-ish at ASR versus my 128, which is a lot to cut, which is 8 seconds. But again, watching those laps, I'm pretty sure I can cut 8 seconds. I could probably cut 5 seconds alone in that straightaway between staying in the throttle and not getting off of it, and then also braking way later. So we'll see. Matt also has some 225 on his sedan that he's got. We're gonna try and see if these things fit on here. The front fenders are not rolled. The driver's side rear is rolled, but not the passenger. So I'm actually gonna get to rolling that. I might put that in the video or not, but I'm gonna roll those. Might have to do some rolling in the front. I don't wanna make this thing like a giant wide body, but I'd really love to see what this car feels like with 225s on it. And a little less rotating in the back, which the 225s will do, just that anyways, without me having to mess with anything. But enough jibber jabber, it is what it is. Can't wait to see the oil cooler puts in a little bit more work on the full-size track. And once the season's over, I'm gonna redo this bumper just to be a little more refined. But again, I appreciate everybody for watching. If anybody's curious about any of the other part numbers, they should be in the description down below for what I use for this oil cooler. And hopefully have some more, hard data after this next track day, just to show and see how well it is or is not working actually. So again, appreciate everybody for watching. If you guys have any questions, comments, put them in the description below. Find me on Instagram. Thanks for watching, guys.